Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic Tuesday, wherever you are around the world. Hopefully, everyone is good. Hopefully, everyone is well. And welcome back to a match preview show. Of course, it is the big one. It is Liverpool against Real Madrid. Of course, we've seen this many, many times. Certainly, more inevitably, of course, in Champions League finals. Obviously, sadly, it hasn't worked out for us in those occasions anyway, but it is Liverpool at Anfield against Real Madrid. I'm very much looking forward and excited for this game. And again, I want to know your guys' thoughts as well in the comments, because I think a lot of people and a lot of Reds are very excited for this game as well. Of course, get your guys' thoughts in the comments as well. Obviously, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well anyway. And of course, hit the share button. It'd be very much appreciated as always, because it is a busy week this week. Of course, obviously we've got match preview this week. Of course, we've got post-match tomorrow. We've got, again, a busy week again with Liverpool playing City as well. Very much looking forward, of course, to, again, a big week for the Liverpool Football Club. And hopefully by the end of it, we're actually, going to be talking about it very, very promisingly in terms of Liverpool getting, the better half of Manchester City and, of course, Real Madrid. I think City have just gone 2-0 up as well in that game. But big up Doug as well, saying hello, Connor. Not long until we both are in Liverpool. Yes, I think next, was it like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I think it is. Again, time flies, so I don't even know what day we're on half the bloody time, but it's time to get revenge over Madrid. And of course, yeah, we're 100%, look, it's definitely a tie where, heartache has been a real thing over the last couple of years, considering, again, you think of Kiev final, you think back to Paris as well. I think many people would say that was probably the end of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, or Liverpool 1.0, if you want to say that, against Madrid. In Paris, I think, lucky, certainly against Madrid, I feel like, every time we've played them, we've been better than them. But again, the results wouldn't suggest that neither as well. So look, that's just my point of view. Anyway, and of course, we're going to talk about, of course, a few other things as well. Get your guys' thoughts and reactions to it, of course, as well. Well, we're going to talk about Arne Slot's press conference as well. Obviously, the comment he did make about Mohamed Salah, of course, saying that Mo is more in than out, in his opinion, of course, which is very, very exciting. Of course, the Arne Slot, speaking about that. We'll also talk about injury news as well. Of course, big positive news that Trent is back in some capacity, anyway, which is a good thing, of course. But one thing that I wanted to talk about to begin the show with anyway, and big ups to John as well in the chats, of course, is saying, hi Connor, thoughts on Ben Doak's performances for Borough? He is ripping up. Amazing, mate. Look, I haven't seen too many performances. I've seen, saw the Scottish performance against Croatia. I thought he was really good in that game. Seen bits and pieces, and he looks very, very good. Look, he does look a very good player in the Championship, and if he can transition that into a Liverpool kit, in the future, that would be a massive bonus as well. But hopefully, that will that will happen hopefully next season, in terms of, again, Liverpool having him available, and maybe Arne Slot might be looking at it and going, maybe we might not need a right winger hopefully in the future, anyway. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on, of course, we're going to talk a little bit, well, to begin the show, of course, we're going to talk about, of course, Liverpool and Real Madrid. But I wanted to talk, to begin the show, about Jamie Carragher. Of course, we're going to talk about Jamie Carragher's comments on Monday Night Football yesterday. Of course, if you guys have not seen, of course, it was in response to Mohamed Salah's comments after the Southampton game, in which, of course, he did say that at the moment he is more out than in terms of his contract situation, in terms of, again, what that means in terms of Liverpool. Will he be staying? Will he be going at the end of the season? And of course, Jamie Carragher responded on Monday Night Football, and of course, obviously, since then, has received criticism, I think, on social media from a lot of Liverpool supporters, which, of course, obviously, Jamie Carragher's come back on and so on as well. But I wanted to quickly get my thoughts on it, in terms of, again, I can understand where Jamie Carragher's coming from. And of course, I will quickly read out, what he did say on Monday Night Football. But I can also see where other people are coming from as well on Mo Salah and what, Mo Salah's not stupid. Again, he's a very intelligent man. Again, he knows, his words mean, are valuable in that sense. And I also think that, again, Mo is smart, for what he, has done after the game as well, in terms of speaking to, of course, the local journalists in what he had to say, of course, anyway. But I want to quickly bring up what Jamie Carragher did actually say about the situation. Of course, he says, I'm desperate for them to meet in the middle in terms of contract negotiations. But I must say, I'm very disappointed with Mo Salah. Carragher said, Liverpool have got Real Madrid midweek and they've got Manchester City at the weekend. That's the story for Liverpool right now. And Mo Salah, we're all quite aware, certainly the local reporters are in Liverpool, that in 7 years that he's been at Liverpool Football Club, he's stopped in the mix zone twice, which is his right, is absolutely fine. But he decided to stop for the third time away at Southampton on the back of winning Liverpool the game and putting that out. The most important thing for Liverpool Football Club this season is not the futures of Mohamed Salah. It's not the future of Virgil van Dijk. It's not the future of Trent Alexander-Arnold. The most important thing for Liverpool is winning the Premier League title. This is more important than any of those players. And if he continues to put comments out, or his agent keeps putting cryptic tweets out, that's selfish. That's thinking about themselves and not the football club. The reason Liverpool wouldn't have offered a contract yet is because Mo Salah will turn it down. So they're still in talks, he added. So again, I want to know your guys' thoughts on it, of course. Again, obviously that phrase, of course, calling Mohamed Salah selfish, of course, went all over social media. I can understand where Kara's coming from in terms of, again, his approach to it. Because I know, again, people go back to, I think, back in 2010, I think when Jamie Carragher was asking for a new contract as well. That was the main theme on social media yesterday. But I do think, look, is Mohamed Salah selfish for what he did? No, I don't think he is. I think, he's laying it out there. Again, you've got the reporters, they, of course, anybody can speak to them. I think Virgil van Dijk was even there. He didn't really speak, but of course, Van Dijk, just stood there. But Mo Salah, like I said at the start, Mo Salah is smart, with his words. Again, him coming out and saying, no, I've not received an offer. I've not received any inkling of a new deal either. That will put pressure on Liverpool. And with him, Trent, and Virgil van Dijk all needing new deals, it is a question to whether or not, again, are Liverpool prioritizing one or the other? Do they then think, oh, we need to sort Trent out now because, of course, in 34 or 35 days, all of them can go and speak to foreign teams. They can all go and speak to Real Madrid if they wanted to. And leave on a free transfer at the end of the season. And that would be catastrophic for Liverpool Football Club if that happened. And of course, Liverpool going for a league title, of course, it's the main positive thing because we are 8 points clear at the moment, and that's what it should all be about. Look at last season. Last season for Liverpool, the main headache towards the end of the season was Jurgen Klopp going. Everybody knew Jurgen was leaving. Everybody, it was kind of a weight on everyone's shoulders that, Jurgen's going to be leaving. We need to go on and, win the league. And that, I think, psychologically had a massive impact on Liverpool going, in the future in terms of last season, us not being able to, go on and win the Premier League title and in the end coming up a bit short. This year, Liverpool have a fantastic opportunity to go on and win the Premier League title this season. We do. City on the weekend, obviously Madrid now midweek. If we can, get a result against Madrid, then go on against Manchester City and beat them, that's 11 points. We are clear then of Manchester City after a week of going from Southampton away, coming back in that game at Anfield. Then we beat Real Madrid at home. We've then beat Manchester City at home. That is a huge statement, particularly as well for everybody saying like, oh, Liverpool haven't played anyone yet. That is huge. And that's all, I think, what Jamie Carragher is saying, that's all Liverpool should be thinking about. but also it is in the background of everyone's minds in terms of everybody constantly says at the moment, when is Mo Salah getting his new deal? When is Trent getting sorted? When is Van Dijk getting sorted? And the fact that we are still going into December after 3 international breaks, and we still haven't had any inkling of any of them signing a new deal. Of course, there's talks. Mo Salah saying again, there's no talks in that sense. That's nonsense in that respect, because again, we all know all of them have had conversations with the sporting director, Richard Hughes, in getting a new deal sorted. That is plain and obvious to see. But it's also that I think it is also frustrating in that sense that Liverpool now should have got that done, or at least got one contract sorted right here, right now. I think, again, when we speak about the likelihood of, who's going to sign first, I think it is Virgil van Dijk out of everyone. But I do also think with that, again, all three of them are vital. Letting all three leave would be catastrophic. And it would be, because Mohamed Salah at the moment is currently the best player in Europe, at the present moment in time. The way he's performing this season is unbelievable. Trent, for me, is the best right back in world football, same as Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk has been the best centre-back in world football for the last 6-7 years. And to allow all of them to leave on a free would be mental. Yes, wages would be free in that sense, but that's no way you should be looking at it, because again, Liverpool should be offering these deals. Of course, giving a 3-year contract where it's reported Mo Salah, in terms of bonuses, is earning around 500k a week. Should that be given to a 32-year-old where you do speculate that there will be some sort of decline? Sure, maybe again you can look at that, but not many 32-year-olds are doing what Mo Salah is doing right now, and he doesn't look like slowing down. Because I think I said this a couple of days ago, Mo Salah, the club, I think, wanted him to slow down in some capacity, to go, well, look, your numbers are going a bit down. We need to sort the contract in terms of going down instead of going up. Mo Salah can turn around and go, well, at the end of the day, look, I'm performing probably better than what I did last season. Why should my contract go down? It should go up in that sense, or stay the same at the very least. So I think the criticism on Jamie Carragher, I can understand it to some extent, but of course, I think from Carragher's side of things as well, can understand where he's coming from. But I do think in saying Mo Salah being selfish, I don't think he's being selfish. I think he's being very smart with his words. And at the end of the day, he wants to stay at Liverpool. He wants to be, again, here for another 2-3 years. And again, I think he will sign a new deal. I don't think he will leave at the end of the season. But the quicker it is announced and quicker, again, that Liverpool can then think about, again, what's more important, winning the Premier League title, winning the Champions League at the end of the season. And they are the main, they are the priority things that you should be thinking about. And we shouldn't be thinking of and talking about transfers or contracts in that sense. And look, hopefully, things will get sorted out sooner rather than later anyway. But I wanted to quickly talk about that. Anyway, and get your guys' thoughts on it anyway. But pick up John Spell saying, "Hi Connor, how can we attract top players if we can't tie down our best players? I wonder if this affected Jurgen's departure. Possibly, it is a possibility. I don't think so personally. I think Jurgen was just done. I think him, now going to, I think, the head of Red Bull football. I think that's the perfect job for him. He's not going to be doing things week in, week out. He's got a very high job in that sense, and a very important job, which I think he will thrive in. But again, I think with Jurgen, it was just the fact that he was done. And all the stories that have come out since in terms of him wanting to leave after that season that we didn't do that well in. Again, I think it was pretty plain sailing that he wanted to leave on a high. And that last season was pretty much a high in terms of, again, what the season before was. Anyway, but pick up Damo as well, saying, is there any chance Mo was simply setting himself up for a Godfather style announcement when he finally signs a new contract, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in? Possibly, very much possible. But I think, look, Mo is smart with his words. Yeah, like he's not, he's not a footballer that again just says things for the sake of it. His words are very powerful in what he means. I think, look, Mohamed Salah, uh, again, he's very smart, and I think what he did Sunday night, in terms of again going, oh, I can speak to the press buyer and maybe push things a bit forward in terms of signing a new deal because he doesn't want to leave. He said it, there and then. I love the football club, I love the fans, that they love me, but we need to sort things out. That's what is for me is different compared to an Emery Chan or somebody like that, or Phil Coutinho, for example. Mo Salah wants to stay at this football club. It's all about there being some sort of compromise in terms of again what Liverpool do and what Mohamed Salah, what Liverpool want and what Mohamed Salah wants. I think just comes down to years on the contract. I think Mo wants 3 years. I think Liverpool want to give him 2 years. But I also think that Liverpool don't want to give him, if the rumours are true in terms of him having like 500 grand a week, if he meets certain criteria, I don't think they want to give him that. But at the end of the day, I will also say as well, Liverpool have saved money on contracts from the likes of Thiago and Joel Matip, and they were huge contracts for the football club. It's not the fact that Liverpool, Liverpool need money, because we don't. Liverpool, again, the wage bill is very high, but to Liverpool, Liverpool desperate to sell things or sell players to generate funds, for example. No, I don't think that's true at all. Myself anyway, but yeah, Doug, I just saw that Arsenal 4, Sporting 1. Again, sure, now going to win the league. That's one thing I would say anyway. But getting on to then Liverpool against Madrid, I've ranted for 17 minutes about, of course, Carragher's comments on Mo Salah. I wanted to talk about it. I was going to do a show yesterday about it, but again, we ran out of time against it anyway. But talking about Liverpool and Real Madrid, then, of course, obviously speaking to Real Madrid, of course, injuries have been a big impact on them so far this season. Looking at the injury list now, of course, Dani Carvajal, David Alaba, Eder Militao, Tchouaméni, Rodrigo, of course, Vinny Jr. as well being out of this game. They've had, a load of bad injuries, and we're not talking, as I'm dropping my phone, we're not talking, of course, about little injuries. We're talking about serious ACL injuries. Eder Militao, especially, I think has had 3 in the last 2 years, which, if that's, that is, career defining injuries in that sense as well. And I think overall, Madrid, of course, coming to Anfield, of course, they've still got the likes of Jude Bellingham and, of course, Kylian Mbappe, but they are coming weak, to Anfield, and it's probably the best time ever to play Real Madrid. Again, the last time Liverpool beat Real Madrid was back in 2009. Of course, when we beat them 4-0 at Anfield. Since then we've lost I think every time. I think we've lost against them since. In recent memories, again, I think it was the 14-15 season, we lost, I think it was 3-0 at Anfield. And then we lost 1-0 at the Bernabeu, of course, that famous Brendan Rodgers game. And then, of course, in more recent memory, of course, we know simply in terms of the Champions League finals, again, Kiev, Paris as well. Like I said earlier on, the Paris final in particular, I think for me was the end of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool in that sense, in terms of that, core of, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, of course, the front 3 as well, in terms of Bobby, Sadio, and Mo as well, of course, and that was a real turning point for Liverpool, because us not winning the Premier League and then not winning the Champions League, I think that was a massive impact on Liverpool, and hopefully, of course, it does change, because again, they will have a game plan now, of course, with Vinny not being there. Of course, Mbappe can play his preferred role. You'd fully probably expect to see, again, Jude Bellingham in the false 9, Kylian Mbappe on the left, maybe Valverde on the right. Could be a potential option for Madrid. I would be surprised if that was the case. But again, you can't treat Real Madrid lightly. Even with their injuries, again they still have a very very good team in that sense as well. And of course, I know that again they've not been performing well in the league. I think they're 9 points away from Barcelona at the present moment in time as well. So again, look, they haven't really hit the heights in terms of again the Champions League this season, or of course the La Liga. But again, it's Real Madrid, and again they always show up against us. And of course, Thibaut Courtois always has a banging game against Liverpool, which is never great in that sense anyway. But one thing, and of course one topic for Liverpool, which is a good thing in that sense, is Trent. Trent is back in the squad, which is good. Of course, Arne Slot did confirm it as well. He's back in the squad. He's not going to start tomorrow, which is a sad sight. But again, Conor Bradley having a very, very good season in that sense. Sorry, chat, I'm trying to unwrap the wire around my ankle from my phone. But yeah, look, he's Conor Bradley's capable, again, playing right back, but having Trent back is huge in that sense as well. But big up Kev as well, saying Chiesa hat-trick tomorrow off the bench. He's actually not fit either, Kev, I don't think. Again, looking at it now, Chiesa's not back for the game tomorrow, unfortunately. He might be back for City, though, which is, again, another bonus for Liverpool squad, which hopefully will happen, of course, anyway. But yeah, just looking at the results now between Liverpool and Liverpool and Madrid, Jesus Christ, horrible, absolutely horrible. Anyway, no, but of course he did confirm the Trent's back in the squad. He did also, of course, speak about Mohamed Salah in terms of again, Mo is more in than out in his squad, which again I like that. Again, I think Arne Slot has been very calm in press conferences. I think a lot of Liverpool reporters, especially, I think did think that he would be hounded in terms of Mo Salah's comments and what's happened since, of course, the Southampton game. But once again, cool, calm, and collected. Again, he's saying simply like, look, I'm not going to talk about it. And I think a lot of supporters like that. In terms of what he brings to the team in terms of again an overall sense. And again, we don't know the ins and outs of Arne Slot's talks to the squad, but just the presence of him, again, he seems like a very cool, calm, collected individual that, again, no matter what the situation is, he has an idea for it. And again, that's just from a press conference, let alone us playing football. But at the minute, obviously it'll get more intense probably throughout the season if people don't sign contracts. But so far, again, he's just saying it as it is, and basically telling the reporters to shut up in that sense as well. Because I think even he said that's the only time I'm going to speak about it is this time right now, which again I think is a massive positive in that sense as well. But Tim says, if Costas injured for Real Madrid, would you start Andy Robbo both games, or would you start Joe Gomez in one of the games? Well, thank you for bringing that up as well, because I did forget to mention that. Of course, obviously, I did speak about Trent being back, but of course, Costas is out. Looks to be, I think, 3 weeks has been spoken about in terms of Costas, ankle injury supposedly. Of course, Paul Joyce did tweet out before this morning's training session took place. So again, that's a bit of a shame in that sense, considering, again, I think all of us has had the conversation so far this season, at least, like, who starts? Who starts for Liverpool? Is it Costas or is it Robbo? I think, again, that was a real proper debate, I think, over the last couple of weeks of who does start. Because, look, Robbo's performances have dropped, but Costas has been pretty decent, when he's been called upon. So, again, shame in that sense. But to answer your question, I think possibly if you can tomorrow, you maybe change Robbo for Gomez, but against City, I think you play Robbo. I think I say that, mind. I think obviously we'll talk about it more obviously with the City preview, but the best thing I think to do against City is to just sit back and counter them, because Spurs have done it, and they got massive amounts of success. I know Feyenoord has tried to do it tonight and has been unsuccessful in that sense, but I think you can get at the City team. I think more so than Liverpool. So I would sit back personally, and just do full on counter attack against City. Again, Spurs did it. Obviously they struggled against Bournemouth, I think, when they did it as well. So it's, in terms of the transition, City are pretty awful in terms of, again, stopping that this season. And considering the fact, again, they've been very solid in that department over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Without Rodri in that sixth position, they are struggling massively. And Kovacic can't really stop it. Sorry, Jack, my nose is absolutely itching. But Kovacic can't stop that when he's fit. Obviously, Gundogan, the last 2-3 games, again, he's looked awful in that sixth position. Myself, personally looking at it, but again, I think overall, I think City, again, they'll be dangerous because, again, it's City, as they've just gone and conceded, have they? Yep, it's now 3-1 Feyenoord, or 3-1 to City. But that, for me, is how you get at City on Sunday, for sure. But again, we'll talk a bit more about that come the day anyway. But obviously, speaking about Liverpool, starting 11 predictions, of course, let me know your guys' starting 11 predictions in the comments, as my nose can't stop itching. But yeah, let me know your starting 11 predictions in the comments. This is mine, as you can see on the right now anyway. Of course, I think it's pretty much the same as Sunday. Of course, Keller in goal. Obviously, no Alisson Becker yet. In first team training, that might be City. But again, Arne Slot, I think when he was asked upon it, was a bit iffy on it. So even still, Keegan Kelleher, again, Mr. Reliable. So far for Liverpool this season, I think Conor Bradley started right back. Canate, Van Dijk, Robbo. I think that writes itself, being perfectly honest. If Trent was fit, then of course Trent would be in. But again, on the bench will be perfectly fine for Trent. Midfield, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. Obviously, people go always Curtis Jones. I think, again, bringing on a Curtis Jones will be a massive impact for this game. I think you need legs in the midfield, and I think Maka, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai, I think, in terms of closing down Madrid, I think would be perfect for that midfield anyway. And again, you hope that Szoboszlai from Sunday's performance can kick on, and hopefully now when we talk about, playing him through the tough games, hopefully this is now the sign of him now performing even better as well. And then I think the front three, I think, again, writes itself. Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, and Luis Diaz. I think Lucho might have started against Southampton if it wasn't an international break. But again, Darwin Núñez, I think watching back the Southampton game, I think he didn't have an awful game. I think he had a very decent game, but again, not in terms of scoring or assisting. It was very much a running game in terms of counter pressing. And to be fair, Darwin Núñez did a very good job in that sense against Southampton. But again, Madrid, obviously what happened a few seasons ago with that goal at Anfield, hopefully he can recreate that. I think at some point he will try and do that. But yeah, overall, I think, look, Darwin and Lucho, I think that's the way to go for Liverpool anyway. Which shows there. I really hope Szoboszlai can kick on now for us. He just needs more goals and assists. His work rate is excellent. Yeah, 100% I would agree with you on that, John, as well. But for me, I'm going to go... What am I going to go for score prediction? I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. And that's bold, me saying that. I think Liverpool, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I think Kylian Mbappe will score for them. I think he will, because, he'll finally get to play on the left-hand side. But I think Mo Salah gets 2 goals, and I think Darwin Núñez gets the other one. And I think Liverpool beat Real Madrid. Finally, we beat them, and we go even further clear at the top of the Champions League table as well. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. For me personally, I think that's the way to go. I think you can get at this Madrid team. Again, don't overestimate it or underestimate it, because it is, again, a very decent squad they have come with. But I just think overall, I think Liverpool are better than Real Madrid at the moment, as well. Even if they didn't have any injuries, I think they are better than them anyway, to be fair. But yeah, for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool, and hopefully we do get the job done tomorrow night anyway. But Leverkusen thumping Peps, Salzburg 5-0, and Bayern beating PSG 1-0 as well, says Damo as well. I think, is Arsenal still 4-1 chat as well? So again, big results tonight. I think City, that should have been 4-1 as well. But look, the most important thing for Liverpool tomorrow is a win. Because if we do win, that pretty much guarantees Liverpool a spot in the next round of the Champions League, and that would be huge as well. The fact that, if I go and take a look at it now, like Liverpool, in terms of table, again, obviously Liverpool now off top spot because Inter and Barca are winning. But if we beat Real Madrid tomorrow, the points gap would be, again, 5 points. We'd be clear of Arsenal with 3 games to go. If Liverpool won one more game then out of those 3, that would pretty much guarantee Liverpool then in the top 8. Of the Champions League. That's what's the most important thing. Of course, obviously, being top of the Champions League table will be huge, of course. But if we finish inside that top 8, that will be even better as well. Which, hopefully, that does happen. Fingers crossed. Anyway, but I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Anyway, big thank you for everyone for tuning in. Anyway, to of course the match preview. Again, let me know as well for you guys. Well, would you like the shows earlier, or do you like them at 9 p.m. as well? Because I think some people, for sometimes people like it at 9 p.m., but some people like it earlier as well. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Anyway, because again, I want to know your guys' thoughts as well. But of course, tomorrow will be the post-match show as well. There might be a video coming out tomorrow as well, a bit earlier from the game, so keep your eyes out for that one as well. Of course, we've got obviously stuff towards the end of the week, of course, around the City game as well, which I'm really looking forward to as well. Anyway, but for me, main important thing tomorrow, again, Liverpool get 3 points. I think that pretty much writes us into the top 8 for the Champions League, and pretty much, again, Madrid after that would be in a mess, in that sense, in terms of qualifying automatically for the next round to the Champions League. But again, you can never rule out Real Madrid because they always bloody find a way in Europe to, again, cause upsets. And again, tomorrow will be a tough game, even with their injuries, of course, anyway. But for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. Let me know your guys' starting 11s as well, and score predictions in the comments, because, again, I think overall, I think Liverpool will definitely, again, hopefully bring the best out of Madrid tomorrow, and we beat them as well anyway. But I prefer any time after 8 p.m, but I just jump on when I can. Oh, there you go. But thank you, Dama, for that as well. I think it's a 3-2 vinyl as well. It is 3-2 as well. Bloody hell, City are going to bottle it against Feyenoord. That'll be funny if that does happen. Anyway, but I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Anyway, big thank you to everyone for tuning in. And like I said, hopefully I'll speak to you guys tomorrow after Liverpool beat Real Madrid by a hefty amount, hopefully anyway. But I've been Connor from the Cup Council. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.